because so much of the truth for so long has been buried. And the reason it was buried is because the truth really meant empowerment. Many forces upon earth desire to see humanity in a state where they were not self-reliant, self-empowered. They wanted to see humanity come from the point of view of being controlled. In that age, one has to think of where prosperity came from. Prosperity came from the animals, the herds that individuals owned for food, and in some cases companionship, though it was less of companionship as animals were counted as wealth, provided milk, cheese, even clothing. And so for those close to the land, animals represented wealth. And outside of wealth that came from animals, people were considered wealth. There wasn't the machinery then that you have today that manufactured products. So what was important is the labor that came from humanity. And it is where the control of humanity started from. That those who wished to hold influence and power realized it was the work of humanity that proclaimed their wealth. It is where those trigger points came from, that humans needed to be, you might say, herded together, and their labors used to fulfill the desires of those who wished to control. And then later, when you might say slavery became less important for at least external reasons, the show of things, then the control of the mind became important, because wealth had changed, and gold and silver held an understanding that that would be considered wealth, as that was the treasure that humans sought. Precious gems was also part of that. And it was then that the human mind needed to be controlled, the belief systems. That was the way to control humanity and control what they considered wealth. And so it's important to understand that there has been a long history of control, and the reasons for that control and domination were such that individuals who wanted power, who wanted land. It was that element where land was considered the prime mover. You might say geography. How much a country or an individual could consider in land under his domination. So it was a gradual change. But under all of these gradual changes, the most important thing was controlling humanity and how humanity thought. Without that expression, these other points of control could not have come into the thinking and the progression of those who wished to control and dominate. Domination was recognized as the most important aspect, that those who wanted power, what they considered progress, domination was what ruled the world. And it ruled the world for a very long time. Even today, your domination is still there, but it's in subtle ways. It's in advertising. It is in the way that your governments work. They work behind the scenes, absorbing all that they desire, but outwardly making people believe that they're working in their behalf. And so control and domination is there still, but under a different guise. And so what I wanted to discuss today was how important it is to be an individual thinker, to analyze, to decide what you will accept in your mind and in your heart, the bottom line being what is truth. Truth for you, truth for your fellow beings, truth for the family. And those who wish to control, they have such subtle ways of controlling today. They give you all of those little technological things to keep you busy. I'm not criticizing any of them. What I am saying is it has become such a dominant force in your culture that it keeps you from thinking. The ringtones, for instance. Imagine those from my time clamoring over ringtones. Nothing wrong with it on the surface, but it is if that is your whole yardstick as to what is important. And that also would be my perspective of the iPod, of so many of the toys, the technological toys that you have. There's nothing wrong with them per se. They are beautiful and convenient. The games that people play with your different forms of technological aspects of games. But I would like to say that what is important is how much of your time do you engage in these things, and how much time do you think? How much time is given towards meditation, contemplation, appreciation? How much time is given to observing the earth, the beauty of the changing of seasons? How much time is given to those parts of corporate world that want you to become involved in sports games and spending your money? So much of the economy of your state, of your cities, is given over to a sports team. How little of the assets go towards the education of a child. One must think of these things and come to conclusions and come to thoughts as to how you wish for your world to work for you. Because if you don't do this, it'll never happen. So I wanted first to discuss your place in the world. It is an important place. You might think, I'm one person. What can I do? But what you don't understand is there is what is considered collective thought. You might be one person, but your thoughts collect with many others. And it is the collective thought that is the driver for the future of the planet, for your hometown, for your community, for your schools. Therefore, be clear about what you desire for your future. Be clear about your thinking. Be clear, because what you think is the driver to what you manifest. And you manifest as an individual, and you manifest as a group. You manifest as a country, and it is all related to your thinking and to your point of view. And so I come forth and I lay this at your feet. And we will discuss more of this at a later time. But for now, know that I am dedicated to humanity. I am dedicated to the evolution of humanity. And I am particularly dedicated to the spiritual evolution of humanity. And I use those terms rather than pointing to a date of 2012, because much is being said about that now. I'm not contradicting that at all, but I am placing my emphasis on the development of humanity and the moving forth of thought and self-determination, because that is what takes you to where you need to be. And so it is.